Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Aja. If you don't know, now you know. I feel like I'm so close to the camera today. I don't have a reason for it. Anyway, so today I just want to talk about like the spring summer show of the year. Cruel Summer. I just want to talk about it. I think it was an excellent show, 10 out of 10. I would recommend anyone to go watch it. Like, I was intrigued every step of the way. So, disclaimer, this show does have a lot of trigger warnings to it. So if things like sexual assault and violence kind of make you queasy or you don't like that, this might not be the video for you, because I'm talking briefly about it because I don't like talking about that, but just briefly, but like I won't talk about it too much. Anyway, so this show, we have the characters Jeanette and Kate. If you don't know what the show is about, the show is about this girl Kate. She went missing for a year, and this other girl Jeanette basically took over her life. And then Kate was found, and Kate basically said that Jeanette knew that where she was and didn't say anything. So they're battling this out. So I just want to go ahead and say I'm Team Kate. I was always Team Kate. Without a shadow of a doubt, I was Team Kate. And I'm just going to say that. So we're just going to go through the episodes, and we're just going to pick out the red flags about the weirdo Jeanette, because she's a psychopath. So, episode 1. If you don't also, this show takes place in 3 different years. So it takes place in 1993, 94, and 95. So 93 is like when things were all happy and leading up to the occasion of when Kate gets kidnapped. 1994 is usually takes place right after she was found, and the immediate events following after that. And 1995 is dealing with like the court case and final revelations of everything. So there we go. Okay, so I want to say 1993 episode 1. I think we're celebrating Jeanette's 15th birthday. I don't know. But the thing about Jeanette is, like, in 1993, she's like this nerd character, dorky girl. She has the glasses, she has braces, she's wearing crinkly hair. She's wearing lots of pinks and neons and stuff. She laughs like she laughs like that. Like, she's that type of person. And then like 1994, she obviously turns into this popular girl stereotype, like straight hair, no glasses, no braces, skimpy clothes, I don't know. And then 1995, she turns into like this alter ego person. I don't know what it was. She cut all of her hair off, basically. She started wearing way darker clothing. I think she wore the same outfit probably for like 3 days in a row. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Okay. So also the cool thing about this show is when they do the episode, it's the same day in each of the 3 different years. So like, I didn't want to say Jeanette's birthday was like a June birthday or something. So it's June. It's her birthday each year that they go through the episode. And you can tell the difference because the lighting gets worse when you get closer to 1995. So 1993, we celebrate her birthday, and then she goes to the mall with her friends, Weirdo Mallory and Vince. I like Vince. And then we run into red flag number 1. Like 10 minutes into the show, she's looking at Kate and her boyfriend Jamie very oddly, very weirdly. That's red flag number 1. And then she goes up to Kate and she lingers a little too long. That's red flag number 2 already. And then she buys something, I want to say, that Kate was just looking at. And then she wouldn't tell her friends about it for some reason. Like, she's a weird. She was showing weirdo behavior from day 1. And then they make this list of illegal things to do over the summer. And so they break into this house to play hide and seek. How they break into the house, Jeanette's dad is a realtor, so they just took the house keys and went to go into the person's house. The person's house is Martin. Martin is a red flag, if you don't know. And so that's when we meet Martin. And we learn about how the house has a basement. That's important. And all of that. Okay, so then we go to 1994 for her birthday. And now we see she's dating Jamie. She's not friends with Mallory and Vince anymore. She's friends with Kate's old friends. Like, she literally has Kate's friends, Kate's boyfriend. Like, she's living Kate's life. And then 1995, she's kind of like fighting with this lawyer, and we were like very, very confused. And she's like fighting with this lawyer, and she has like no friends, and she's like very like distant and not saying a lot, and very bitchy, like very. And so then we find out at the end of the episode that Kate was found in 1994. And so Jamie punches her in the face, and we don't know why Jamie punches her in the face yet, but he just punched her in the face as soon as he heard the news that Kate was found. And then we find out at the end of the episode, Kate does this interview, and she said Jeanette knew that she was missing. She saw her, Jeanette saw her, and she didn't say anything about it. So that's when we were like, oh, that's why he punched her in the face. She must have see? That's why. So then we move on to episode 2, and we get more of an insight to Kate. Sweet poor Kate. So we meet Kate and her home dynamic in life. So I want to say her dad died or something. So her mom remarried. She has a black stepdad and his other daughter. He had a daughter before, so she has a stepsister and a stepdad. And so she thinks her stepdad is cheating on her mom. So she goes on this mission to go prove it, and then she finds out she's wrong, right? But like, she tried telling like her stepsister and her mom beforehand, and her mom was like, don't embarrass me or something. She said something really nasty to her. I don't like her mom. And then so she was like trying, and then so she feels bad, right? So she gets drunk and she runs off, and then the gardener finds her, brings her back home. And so, but then when she comes back home, she finds out that her mom was the one cheating with the gardener. And so she runs off again, and she gets found by Martin. Oh, I did not mention this. So in episode 1, they mentioned that Martin was the one who kidnapped Kate. So this is when I was like, oh my god, is this when she gets taken? But it's not. So then we jump to 1994 for Kate. And they want her to talk to a therapist. And she doesn't want to do that. And they want her to talk to the police, and she doesn't want to do that either. She doesn't want to do anything because she just literally just got found, and she doesn't feel like doing anything. And so another plot point in this thing in 1994 was Jamie, who seemingly, after he punches Jeanette in the face, breaks up with her. And so he gets back with Kate, and she just takes him back. That's kind of weird. And so she sees Jamie and Jeanette kissing, and she was like, I'm over it. So apparently she had this bracelet. That's what she bought. Okay, and going back to episode 1, the thing that that's not what she bought. The thing that Jeanette had like from her friends from her birthday was this bracelet or a necklace. No, it was a necklace. And so somehow a year has passed now, and Kate has that necklace in her possession. So she goes to turn it to the police to prove like, this is Jeanette's necklace. I wouldn't be able to have this if she didn't see me, like if we weren't in the same space while I was gone. So then we get to 1995. Kate in this episode, and she's like, this is kind of like sparse, but like she joins this online chat room to get out her feelings. And that, like, because at the end of the episode that says, like, she hasn't been completely honest with what she's been saying the whole time. So we're like, what is she saying? And this is when the people start to doubt. This is when the people start to doubt, but not me. Not me. So here we are in episode 3. We're going back to Jeanette for a second, psychopath. So they're going back over with this illegal listing. So Mallory brings over weed, and then she has to leave all of a sudden. So she leaves the weed at Jeanette's house, and Jeanette freaks out and flushes all the way down the toilet. And it turns out that's like Mallory's mom's like arthritis weed or something. And but she gets very mad and very upset, and so then, like, it's Jeanette's mom. This is when Sarah Drew comes into the picture. April Kepner, she comes into the picture and she's like, well, you just need to try to be more popular. You can be friends with the popular kids, like that Kate girl. Red flag from her mom. And so then Jeanette's like, no, I'll just be friends with Mallory. And so she goes to Martin's house. She breaks into Martin's house again to steal this yearbook from Mallory. I don't remember if this wasn't important to the plot, her breaking into there to get the yearbook, but let's just say it's important to the plot. So then we jump to 1994, and Jeanette gets questioned. She finally gets questioned by the police, but she's like, that's not mine, that's not mine, that's not mine. And then we cut to this, like, brief Vince scene. So Jamie has this friend named Ben, and he's in the closet. And Vince is also in the closet. And they decide they're gonna be in the closet together. That's kind of all I have for you. And so Jamie then asks Jeanette to keep the kiss a secret. Like, don't tell nobody. Because he doesn't think Kate knows yet. And he also asks her, like, how did you know Kate was missing before everyone else? Which is important to the plot, and we're going to get there in just a second. So in 1995, Kate finally confronts Jeanette, like, in person. Like, she sees her at a stoplight. She literally gets out of her car, bangs on Jeanette's car windows, like, you need to, because, like, Jeanette countersued for defamation because Kate's suing her, and so everyone's suing each other basically. And now Kate's mad, and she's like, you need to stop. And this is not right. I'm the victim, which she's right. She is the victim. So Psychopath goes back home to practice being more likable in front of, so when it's her day in court, she can pretend like she's likable, like she's like a person, even though she's not. And so we have another brief thing with Vince, where he lies to the police for Jeanette, saying he knows that Jeanette has never ever been back in the house since that one time, even though he knows she's been in that house more than one time, which is another red flag. Why has she been in his house that many times? I'm just saying. So we jump to episode 4, and we're going back to Kate. So 1993, she's trying to bond with her stepsister, Ash, but Ash ain't having it. Like, I don't know why. She was kind of being kind of rude, like kind of mean. Like, I don't know why, but Kate was trying to bond, and Ash was like, I don't want to. So instead, I think they were at this, like, family hunting trip or something, and she was like, you know what? Martin's here and Martin's nice, so I'm gonna hang out with Martin. What do you think is about to happen? Yep. So we have that going on in a second. So then 1994, Kate finally goes to therapy, and she runs into Mallory. So then they bond over their hatred of Jeanette, which is, bonding over people that you hate is the key of life. And so they bond over that. The police say that they don't have a solid case to like charge Jeanette with something, which is, I mean, I guess kind of valid. I mean, all she had was a necklace and Jeanette's word. So then in 1994 again, Ash, the stepsister, tries to bond with Kate now, and then Kate was like, no. She was like, if you wanted to hang out with me a year ago, I probably would have never talked to Martin and bonded with Martin, and it's your fault. So because that happened, Ash is so determined to bond with her dear stepsister, she joins the chat room that her stepsister's in without her name. This is important to the plot. So in 1995, Joy is Kate's mother that I don't like. Joy finds this note that says liar on it, like on their door, and she's like, who did this, and she blames Mallory for it, because now Mallory and Kate are friends all of a sudden, even though Mallory like hated Kate. Like when they showed the 1993 and 1994 scenes before this episode, like she hates Kate, and all of a sudden she loves Kate now. So that's what happened. So she accuses Mallory writing the note, and Mallory's like, no. And at first I really did think that Mallory wrote the note and lied about it, because she's a weirdo. And I definitely thought she was hiding something, which she kind of did, but we're gonna get to that. And so they go on this hunting trip again, because the liar note freaks the mom out. So they try to rally up all these people to make sure they support Kate, and that whatever happens, they don't ever not support the family, right? So they go on this hunting trip. So Kate tells the story around the bonfire about Annabelle, from when she was kidnapped, right? And then, you know, at the end of the story, she's like, I blame all the adults for me getting kidnapped. Valid. And then later on, she's listening to her therapy tapes for any inconsistencies for court, right? And then she realizes she kind of does not recall Annabelle. And at first, they introduced this Annabelle thing. This is like episode 4, and then like they kind of like left it for a while, and we're like, what happened to the Annabelle thing? Like, they were really trying to make us. This is where more people fell off. They're like, Kate's hiding something. Kate's hiding. Like, Kate's not right. Kate's not. Like, I never wavered. I was just like, who's Annabelle? I'll wait to find out who Annabelle is. Okay, right? So, episode 5 in 1993. This is where it's not more of like, this is Jeanette's thing and this is Kate's thing. They're starting to mesh now. So 1993, they all kind of go to this carnival in town, like, you know, those fairs and carnivals that pop up in town, and Kate and Martin bond more, and he steals her scrunchie. This is not very important to the plot, but kind of is. It's showing character. So he steals her scrunchie, red flag. And then Jeanette, the psycho, comes up and he's like, oh my god. She's like, oh my god, is that Kate's scrunchie? And he's like, yeah. She's like, I'll give it back to her. And he's like, okay. And then she takes it, but spoiler alert, she never gave that scrunchie back. She wore that scrunchie on her wrist every day. For the next 4 episodes that we know of, she was wearing that scrunchie. She never gave that scrunchie back. She said, I'm just going to give it back when school starts. School starts. And when school started, Kate was gone. She put that scrunchie in her ballerina box or something. Like, I don't know. She was wearing that scrunchie every day. Like, that's weirdo, psychopath behavior. So then we jump to 1994. Kate finally confronts Jamie about the kiss. She's like, I know you kissed her. I know you kissed her. And Jamie's gaslighting her. He's like, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. Your PTSD is getting to you. You're mixing up. You're jumbling up things. Okay. So they break up again, I guess. Because, I mean, I don't want to be with somebody who's gaslighting me. So then Jeanette and her brother try to talk to Kate about dropping the lawsuit, right? And in the meanwhile, Jeanette's mom becomes an alcoholic. Is this important to the plot? It is. Because this is starting when Jeanette's mom starts just leave the family. She's like, I'm done. She starts questioning her daughter. Everyone else gaslights her, and she just leaves. So then the dad meets another woman at the store. Yeah, this is the foreshadow. Like, he's meeting someone else. She's becoming an alcoholic. She's leaving. And here comes the new thing. Right? So then we jump to 1995. And we get the whole dad is blaming Jeanette. It is her fault. I don't remember what he was blaming her for, but he was blaming her for all of their troubles. And I think he was also an alcoholic. He didn't look very good in 1985. Anyway, so then also in 1995, Jamie finally admits to lying to Kate about not kissing Jeanette. He's like, I'm so sorry about that. And she's like, wouldn't it have been easier for you to admit that like a year ago? Yup. Also in this episode, Kate and Mallory vandalize Martin's grave. I guess it's important to the plot by how they're bonding. I guess we should have seen it coming for what happens at the end, but okay. So we jump to episode 6, 1993. Okay, so remember when I said Jeanette has stole Kate's friends? So one of Kate's friends' mom, her name is Tanya. She's flirting with Martin, and they see this as their shoplifting, doing the stupid illegal summer listing. So Jeanette takes the fall for the shoplifting. She goes to mall jail, and in mall jail, there's Jamie. So now they're bonding. I don't understand what was the point in that scene, because high-key after that, they never really talked again until very randomly in 1994 she gets him. I don't know. So then they do another illegal thing that day. They break into Martin's house again. This is like the 5th time. And they see the mom, Tanya telling all types of personal info about her daughter and her daughter's life to Martin in order to seduce him to falling in love with her, the sympathy, empathy route. Right? So, and then, I guess because they were in the house, they were hiding, and then Tanya saw Jeanette and just let her go without Martin seeing her. Under this silent agreement that whatever she just heard, she was not going to ever repeat, ever. But the thing is, what is it? In 1995, I'm just going to jump to 1995, Tanya goes on, national television and says, the opposite of what happened. Martin was, trying to seduce her, trying to get at her, making herself the victim instead of, what it really was, which was her throwing herself on him type of thing, and not the opposite. So obviously, if they have it as her being the victim, they can paint Martin as this bit a different picture of Martin, and for some reason it correlates to Jeanette still being at fault. So she she just goes and blackmails the Tanya mom. She's like, I remember this information. If you testify against me in court, I'm just gonna say your personal information about your daughter's life. Does your daughter know about that? No, she doesn't. So she's like, okay, I won't say anything, right? So let's jump back to the 1994 thing. So Cindy, April Kepner, she finds the key to Martin's house and her daughter's stuff. And she asks Jeanette about it, and Jeanette, like, gaslights her, and she's like, that's not the key to Martin's house. Like, why would you do that? Why don't you believe me? I'm your daughter. Like, why would... And she talks about this with her husband and her son, and they gaslight her as well. So she's like, you know what? Forget y'all. I'm leaving. She literally leaves to go to her sister's house, and she doesn't come back. And then the dad later on in 1994 finds out she wasn't lying. That was the key to Martin's house. He just gaslight. He just made his wife leave him because he couldn't just take 2 seconds to be like, let me just go test the key out before I gaslight you. Idiot. Okay, so episode 7, we have... Episode 7 is Kate's birthday now. So now this is like a Kate-focused episode. So in 1993, Jamie gives her this promise ring. And she's like... Promise ring? What the... I don't... Like, and then he gets drunk at the mall. And, but it makes her late to this birthday dinner that her mom was throwing. She was supposed to be back at a certain time. So, but he was drunk. So she couldn't leave him. So somehow Martin showed up at the picture and he's like, I'll take y'all home. So he takes Jamie home, he takes her home, but only just to find out that the mom canceled the dinner. They get very mad, they're arguing. So Kate just reveals the affair that she had. Remember? The affair she had with the gardener in front of her stepdad. And her mom hits her. She just slaps her across the face. And this made Kate mad. She was like, you know what? I'm leaving. She runs away to Martin's house. That's the big secret she wasn't saying. She willingly went to Martin's house. But she didn't willingly stay there the whole time she was there. Let's get to that. So, 1994 wasn't a big episode plot in this episode for Kate's birthday. But in 1995, Mallory takes Kate roller skating that she rented out the whole roller skating rink for Kate. Keep that in mind. So she does that for her, and then Mallory finds out that Joy was actually the one that wrote the liar note, like the one, she was like, oh my god, who wrote this liar note? Mallory did it, like, thing. And then she was like, Kate, your mom wrote the liar note. And Kate was like, why'd you do that? And her mom was like, because you never forgave me for that outburst I had when you accused your stepdad of cheating. I wouldn't forgive you either. You're a terrible person. You're a terrible mom. Right? So, but the thing about this is they're downstairs arguing. I don't know how this happened, but Jeanette's brother ends up dating Kate's stepsister. So he's over there too, and he finds the chat room, and he prints the proof of Kate saying that she willingly went to Martin's house to help his sister out. I'm not gonna say that wasn't a good brother, because I mean, if my stepbrother didn't do that for me, I mean, what kind of stepbrother? I mean, hello? I know we don't talk like that, but like, so we go to episode 8, and this is kind of more of the buildup of the kidnapping. So this is kind of more about Jeanette a little bit, but in 1993, they're doing this big school prank. School's back in session now. So now they're going to do this last illegal thing on the summer list of pulling a school prank. So the prank was Mallory recorded like a bunch of videos from teachers, and one of them was Martin. And so it's like this video, and they're gonna play it for the whole school to see. So Mallory's gonna go in the office to play the video, and Jeanette and Vince are supposed to keep post. Watch out. But they don't do that. So Vince runs into Ben. This is when they start, like, they just randomly run into each other, and they just start talking about life and how both of their moms are dead and all of that. Still, they're bonding out of nowhere. And Jeanette is nosy, because she's nosy and a psychopath. She sees Kate's mom arrive, and so she goes to find out why Kate's mom is up here, and she overhears Kate's mom say, "Kate didn't come home last night. Where is she?" And he goes, "I don't know. Isn't she here in class or something?" And she goes, "Can you make sure?" And he goes, "Okay." And but he knows that Kate's at his house, right? So he pretends to he checks the attendance, and he's like, "Uh-oh, Kate's not here." And she goes, "Well, you better find my daughter before I file her as a missing person." So that's when, so now we connect the dots. How did Jeanette know that Kate was missing before everyone else? Because she overheard this conversation. She went up to Jamie and was like, "Did you know Kate's missing?" Like an idiot. See, that's how, if she just minded her business every once in a while, right? But because those two didn't keep post, Mallory gets caught. Martin looks at the tape. He sees the tape. Obviously, Mallory recorded him in front of his house. But the thing is, you can see Kate in his window at his house on the video. So he destroys the tape, because he's like, "I'm not getting caught." Right? So then in 1994, Jeanette's dad finally confronts her about the key. He's like, "Why do you have this key? You need to turn into the police. Like, your mom literally, like, left us because of this. Like, this is all your fault." And then she can't handle the pressure now. You know, this is after Kate is found now. So, and school starting again, and she's like, "I can't deal with this pressure of everyone looking at me thinking I'm like a bad person, even though she is a bad person." And so she drops out of school. Right? But in 1995, she actually meets back up with Jamie to talk things out. I think they get back together in this episode. I'm not exactly sure. But he gets his voicemail, or like he remembers his voicemail he got from Christmas Eve of last year. And it was just heavy breathing. And he lets Jeanette hear it, and she hears this like silent, heavy breathing. It was obviously Kate calling, but she didn't say anything. That's why she hears her breathing. But she hears this snow globe sound in the background, and she's like, "Oh my God." And she knows who has the snow globe. The snow globe's under Mallory's bed. Mallory has the snow globe. But I don't know why I didn't connect the dots of, oh, then Mallory saw her. I just thought that, like, Jeanette stole the snow globe and gave it to Mallory. That's what I thought. So, episode 9. This is the trigger warning episode. This is where I literally took 2 days to watch this episode because I was sick. I couldn't really, it was too much. So this is the episode of the showing of Martin grooming Kate. So obviously he was grooming her before, making her seem very comfortable around him, like a trusted adult. She went to his house. He was like, "You can stay." She stays too long though, and he doesn't tell anyone that she's there. He goes, "Now you're a missing person, so you can't leave this house now, until we get our story covered, like how we're gonna get you out the house and make it sure it doesn't look like I'm a bad person." But they never do that. So weeks pass, months pass. Now they're in a relationship. it's detailing their relationship, of how they were in love. And then it starts showcasing how Kate is starting to feel very lonely. She misses society. She wants to go out into the world again, but she can't because she's a missing person. So they have this very specific night of Christmas Eve where Kate sneaks out to see her parents, and she thinks her parents are laughing and giggling, like having a grand old life without her, but in fact her parents were like laughing because they were like, oh, I miss Kate, and they miss her, but she doesn't see it that way. So she comes back, but she comes back, and like a few minutes later, Jeanette breaks into the house again. This is like the 15th time that girl has broken into the house. She breaks into the house and steals the snow globe that Mallory has, right? And this is when she supposedly saw her, but Jeanette actually did not see her. But she did drop the necklace that Kate was turned in. Remember that necklace? But she didn't see her. So that's when I was kind of confused, because I was like, so it must have been a different time that Jeanette saw her, because I was like, Jeanette definitely saw this girl and didn't say a word, but you just wait. So Martin finds out that Kate snuck at the house and gets mad, and she's like, I want to leave. And he goes, okay, you can leave, and your suitcase in the basement. So she goes down to the basement. What does he do? Lock the door. She's down there now. That's when she gets kidnapped. She's for real kidnapped. Okay, so now we get to the season finale. The court case is playing out now. So, because of the printed document proof of Kate saying, I willingly went to Martin's house, now she looks like she's lying. And Kate's like, no, that can't be it. I just want the truth of what happened. I am the victim. And I'm like, exactly, you are the victim. So her and Jeanette meet up at Martin's house, breaking into a dead man's house, talk things out. So Jeanette spills the beans. She's hearing Kate's story of like what happened in that Christmas Eve, and she goes, that wasn't me. That was Mallory. That was Mallory's bike. I did break in, but the details that you're telling me, she's saying I saw this bike with this and this on it, and like she was like, that was Mallory. So Mallory must have saw you. So right, her best friend Mallory. Now was like, but we find out a little bit later that like Mallory was like, oh my god, I didn't even realize that was like you until you got rescued. Like when you got rescued, I was like, oh my god, I saw her, and I couldn't say anything because like, what is there to say? And so like, yeah. And so going back to the house, they go to visit the basement. Remember the Annabelle story? We get a conclusion to the Annabelle story. So the night before Kate was rescued, something I did not mention, in the first episode they mentioned that Martin died in a police shootout, and then Kate was found. Remember this. So the night before Kate was rescued, Martin was going to let her go, but he wasn't going to let her go. He was going to kill himself. Trigger warning, I'm so sorry. He was going to kill himself with a gun named Annabelle. And she was like, no, don't do that. And then he was trying to beg her to do it for him. And she couldn't do it at first, but then she finally got really angry and she killed him. So I don't know where they got the police shootout thing, but there was a scene in like episode 1, I think, episode 1, where they heard like a shotgun, and they were like, oh my god, what is that? And they're like, oh, I think it's fireworks or something. But it was the shotgun of Kate killing Martin with the gun named Annabelle. So she was like, oh my god, that's Annabelle. But it's all self-defense. Like, they can't really get it for her now. I mean, I don't know how they got to the whole police shootout thing, but basically what happened was she shot him and she sat there with him all night until she finally called the police or something on herself and to get out, and she got rescued. So they finally just decided to settle in court. They're like, okay, as you apologize, just say that it wasn't, you were wrong, but I got you, and that's what happens. So basically, we're in the last 10 minutes of the episode now. Mallory and Kate run away somewhere, and then like out of the blue they kiss, and we're just like, I did not see that coming. Like, we kind of got the vibes a little bit, like, especially with the roller skate thing, but I was not expecting like that. Like, that's gonna be very interesting come season 2. And then Jeanette goes on the Marsha Bailey show, the same show that Kate went on, to say Jeanette saw me. You know, she goes on that show, dresses just like Jeanette, so she's still psycho, and says that she forgives Kate, right? And so we think this is the end of the episode, right? No. What's in the last 60 seconds of the episode? One day in 1994, Jeanette breaks into the house, and she hears Kate screaming and banging from the basement door. And she was about to open the door for Kate, and instead, she didn't. She left. She left with a smirk on her face. She knew she was gone the whole time. She knew she was down there and didn't say a word. And no one knows that she did that. She was there and actually heard her. And that's how the show ends. That's how season 1 ends. So, if you weren't Team Kate all the way, get out. Fake. You're fake. Jeanette's a psychopath. Let's talk about really quick. So they obviously had the token black friend event, and then made him gay, and then made a few various tiny little scenes of him and his closeted boyfriend in various little places for fillers. And so maybe they should talk about that more in season 2. I don't know how we're going to get to Kate finding out that Jeanette really knows. And I don't think you can't go to court for something in the same place, especially since she's like, oh, she didn't really see me, but she can say she heard me. I don't know if they're gonna try to figure that out, like Kate actually finds out about that day. I don't know how they're gonna do that, and if they're gonna do that, but I kind of hope they do, because like the Mallory and Kate thing, I think they're obviously they're gonna run with that. They're gonna run with that. All the other side characters, like the mom and Kate, April Kepner, and all of those people, I don't know what they're gonna do with them, but they're gonna just show up in random places randomly. Obviously, I would like to see more black people. I think the show had a lot of good, well, it was focused on the white characters, obviously, but I mean, for a show that focused on white characters, they did have a lot of black side characters, so maybe some of the black side characters can get some more screen time in season 2. And I don't know, I saw something that said that they should just do this, like something similar to this plot line again, but with like a whole new cast, like new characters, something similar to this where we have to find out the mystery at the end of the tunnel. And I think that's kind of interesting, but I kind of want to see what happens with these characters specifically just a little longer. But I wouldn't mind them like doing a similar scratch, like that's just the cruel summer thing, but it might get tired after a while. But I don't know, this storyline might get tired after a while too. I mean, I feel like there was a lot of filler episodes in this season. Like there was a lot of filler episodes where we just could have sped along with the plot to get to episode 9 and 10. Like there wasn't like a need for like a few of those episodes. Like but I liked this show. At first I think I saw like the trailers, or no, I didn't see any trailers. I just saw people talking about it on my timeline, and I was like, I should watch it. And then I finally got to watch like an episode. They released like 3 episodes in like one day on Hulu, and I was like watching one of them. I was like, oh my god, I'm hooked. Like, I would please watch the show 10 out of 10 if you haven't watched it. Like, you watched this to see like if it was worth it. I think it's worth it. It's only 10 episodes. It's an hour. They're all like the 1 hour episode long things. They're only 10 episodes, so it's not a lot, but I really like the show. I'm kind of curious what they're gonna do with season 2. Team Kate, never wavered, never doubted. So let me know your can I talk? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you watched the show, if you're gonna watch the show now, what you liked about the show, what you didn't like about the show, whatever. Team Kate, put a Team Kate in the comment section. Yes. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I'll have that in the description box below. And subscribe and like. That's it. Yes, I need to stop filming these videos at like night. I'm like a night filmer now. Is that what I am? Anyway, thank you for watching my video.